something powerful, the sheer magnitude of our potential, not just as TFS students, but as Canadians. Success begins with thinking big, reflecting deeply, and acting boldly. Let's take TFS's moral to heart and push the boundaries of what's possible, not just for ourselves, but for our entire nation. Because if there's one thing history teaches us, it's that young minds like ours have changed the course of history before, and we're ready to do it again. But first, we have to understand what we're up against, because Canada is at a crossroads. Our biggest enemy is not some foreign president, it's internal division and complacency. We have to learn from the past to lead the future, so let's look back into history. Imagine the end of 1945. World War II has ended. Japan was bombed, and China was in a civil war. It all seemed hopeless. But then there were the four Asian tigers: South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Singapore. They turned ruin into power and became economic giants. Take Singapore, for example. In 1965, it was a small, struggling port city with little to no natural resources. Now, it's a top financial hub. What's the secret sauce behind a tiny island nation becoming so successful? It's because they attract foreign investment, prioritize education, and invest in infrastructure. Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's founding father, didn't just react to problems, he anticipated them. He didn't just hope for change, he engineered it. He knew what he was doing, and he got the job done. In stark contrast to Mao Zedong, who was ruling China at the time. Despite China's vast potential, it struggled under disastrous policies like the Great Leap Forward, an effort to modernize the country that resulted in economic collapse and famine. Specifically, between 1958 and 1962, up to 45 million lives were lost due to his mistakes. And it wasn't until 1976, however, after Mao's death, when China realized it was time for a change. And that change brought Deng Xiaoping. In 1978, China's pivotal year, Deng broke free from rigid ideology, taking a page out of Singapore's playbook by adopting elements of capitalism and opening up the country to the markets. He unleashed China's full economic engine and transformed it into the world's second largest economy, a testament to its focus on long-term strategy and vision, two things that Canada lacks. Let's be honest, does anyone actually believe our politics are effective? Most likely the answer is no. And that's because we lack a vision. Our politics are focused on the short-term issues, instead of Canada's long-term prosperity, making us reactive and not proactive. Our provinces are divided. Canada's national trade makes up only 1/3 of our economy, while the rest is international. That's because of different interprovincial trade regulations that make trade either too expensive or just inaccessible at all. Even worse, Alberta sends over 4 million barrels of oil daily to the US, largely at a steep discount, while Eastern Canada still imports oil from Saudi Arabia. Why? We don't have the pipelines or the energy policy to connect our own country. Also, how can it be that we import our oil back in at a higher price but sell it at a cheaper price? And finally, over the past 10 years, compared to the US, Singapore, and China, Canada's population has soared at 16%, 3 times that of the US, while its GDP per capita grew by less than 40% of the US's, and only 23%. All of this is a highly multifaceted issue, and there are many reasons behind this. Experts from the C.D. Howe Institute, Bank of Canada, and Government of Canada agree that Canada has not taken a strategic approach to immigration. We've not taken in enough immigrants in areas where we're lacking workers, like healthcare, and we've taken in too many in areas where we have the workers and we have the workforce. Also, Canada has not invested at the same pace as the US in AI, clean energy, and quantum computing. We are lacking behind. Canada does not have the scale or urgency in our investments to make us more prosperous. We have to align people and progress. But here's the good news. If China and the 4 Asian tigers could build their economies from the ground up, so can we. And we can do even better. That's because The ancient timers did not have our abundance of natural resources. Canada has the third largest supply of fresh water, vast forests, massive oil and uranium reserves. Let's get to work. Here are 5 steps Canada has to take today to succeed. Firstly, we have to act as one nation. This means that we are no longer 13 separate economies, with out of 10 provinces and 3 territories, each of them with their own rules, but we are one Canada, the true north, strong and free. This means getting rid of all different interprovincial trade regulations to make trade cheaper and more accessible. We can respect interprovincial differences, but we must share a common vision of how great Canada can be and how we get there. We have to create a national plan to responsibly develop our energy and our natural resources. All this increasing our GDP by up to $330 billion a year. Second, we have to join more alliances with our allies. This means entering more partnerships with the EU, Japan, and Australia, because together they have over $20 trillion in market share. And we can create more innovation-based alliances, security-based alliances, to help Canada grow and succeed in the 21st century. Third, we need a strategic immigration program. What this means is having a merit-based system to attract the best of the best, the skilled workers that we need to fill our jobs, and the investors to bring in wealth and resources into our country. If we strike a balance between financial and population growth, Canada will be the most prosperous country on earth. And we have to get our social support system from hands out to hands up. What this means is instead of relying on handouts, instead of creating dependency, we have to give empowered and motivated citizens the tools to rise, thrive, and contribute to our incredible country. And finally, we have to invest in small industries. This means Canada has to bet big on AI and space, because these aren't just new technologies, they're the backbone of future jobs, security, and progress. The countries that master them will shape the future. To get there, we need to cut red tape and exploit our natural resources, not just to export them and sell them to other countries, but to fuel innovation right here at home. And now, our moment. As proud TFSUians and Canadians, the question isn't just how great we want to be, it's how we get there. We've lived through 3 technological revolutions over the past 300 years: the steam engine, electricity, and the digital age. Now, we're entering the 4th. Artificial intelligence. AI is changing everything: work, thought, and life itself. Our job, master it, not just to survive, but to lead. We are the generation that will define Canada's next chapter, not by hoping, not by waiting, but by leading. So, let's stop asking who will shape Canada and start being the answer. Thank you.